Nu skal vi finde Beat Hotel, og vi skal finde Rue Le Gîte Le Sœur. Kan du se den, Toge?
Rue Saint Desart er vi på.
Ja, prøv at kigge på næste gade.
Der er den sgu. Prøv at se, hvad der sker nu.
Har du set billeder af Burroughs i den her gade?
Ja, det har jeg sgu. Man kan få en brandy derinde til videoen. Hold da op. Hvad er der dog derinde? Hvad hedder hotellet nu om dagen?
Den er der.
Hvad?
Den er der, det hvide skilt derovre.
Hvad hedder hotellet nu om dagen, tror du?
Det hedder det der...
Le Lutin?
Vieux.
Le Vieux?
Se den der, den skal lige se. Tjek det der sted derinde.
Tegneseriebutik.
Der står stavler af bøger derinde. Han er ikke så glad for at blive filmet. Han er blevet filmet mange gange.
Der er ingen, der er glad for at blive filmet.
Vi
Der
er.
kommer Paris. Enten syn eller øje. Paris' øje.
Betyder det det?
Er eller syn,
Nå.
hedder det i dag. Men det er jo Beat Hotel, som det rigtig hedder.
Se lige skiltet der på facaden.
Nå, det er hvem, der ligesom har boet der. Jan Sommerved og Orlowski, som var... Ja, var det Ginsbergs kæreste?
Ja. Peter Orlowski.
Ja. Der står ikke... Der står ikke... Jo, Burroughs står der dernede også.
Yeah, we were talking about racial issue. As I said, also a lot of jazz players came here also to find a kind of freedom. You know, Dexter Gordon.
Yeah.
Maybe you know the film Run
Later
to
he
Midnight.
went to Copenhagen.
Exactly. Like
No,
many.
actually he
Copenhagen
met
and
the Danish girl or something.
Yes. Copenhagen, Stockholm and Paris were the main jazz center in Europe.
Yeah.
You know? Not London.
No.
London became rock.
Yeah,
oriented.
that was more the rock scene.
But the jazz scene was not very alive like it was here.
No.
And we had a lot of, we had Sidney Bechet in the 20s
Oh,
here.
yeah.
We had a lot of them. We had, after all the free jazz scene also came here. Art Ensemble of Chicago. We had a lot of musicians like Archie Shepp. You know Archie Shepp? Yes. And musicians like this came here also for inspiration. And maybe Europe is more, I would say, more open to other. Now maybe it's different in America, but before it was very divided into fields, and they couldn't communicate like they did in Europe. You know.
We know the trial about Howl, Allen Ginsberg,
Yes.
who's also lived in the hotel.
Yes.
He was in a big trial where they tried to say that it was obscene.
Voilà. That's a big thing also. Here, the word obscene has not the same meaning. No. France was occupied at that time, in the late 50s, by the war in Algeria. And it was the big match, the big problem. And here, there was no real exchange between the intellectual life in France and the beat. First, maybe there was a kind of a barrier, a language barrier, but also there were more
Should we say the name of this hotel and the address?
Oui, c'est le Relais Hôtel du Vieux Paris. Allô? Allô? Oui, c'est le Relais Hôtel du Vieux Paris. Et c'est 9 rue Gilles Lecoeur, dans le 6e. Vous m'entendez? Voilà. She's Japanese or French?
French.
Voilà, je vous passe la en personne. Hein? Okay. So obscene here has not the same meaning. That's why a lot of writers like James Joyce, like even the surrealistic, for example, people, They came here, Salvador Dali, Luis Buñuel, Max Ernst, a lot of people, Picasso, all these people came here because here you could have almost complete cultural liberty, freedom. Yeah. And these people, they felt that, and also they want to be in contact with a surrealist scene, with a Dadaist. So, for example, through Jean-Jacques Lebel, who was a kind of French go-between, and through the Beat Hotel, because Jean-Jacques Lebel came here very often, they tried to get in touch with surrealistic painters, artists, writers, like also Céline, the big Céline who went to Denmark after the war, was imprisoned in Denmark. And these people meant a lot for the Beat writers. So the basis was always the Beat Hotel. And through that, they tried to have arrangements with a lot of artists in Paris, like Marcel Duchamp was a big figure, you know. And once Jean-Jacques Lebel made an invitation for them for a big party at his father's house, but things didn't go very well with Gregory Corso, Allen Ginsberg were completely drunk, and once they tried to cut the tie of Mr. Duchamp and all that.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that many years after, très bien, merci. Many years after, the same thing happened to William Burroughs, but he was in the other side. I was once in the Pompidou Center, and he came here for a traditional reading of his books.
You met Burroughs?
Yeah, 3 times.
Three times?
And I was on a stage with him, next to him, and he wrote his book, and suddenly there was a punk guy. He came with a kind of scissors like this. and also he took his hat like this, you know. So Burroughs stopped reading and said, "I want my head back." And the punk said, "No, never." So they were now, after having been in a kind of rebellion position, they were in the other side, meaning they were older, they were more in the traditional culture.
Yeah.
Because the punk were against them.
Yeah.
As a kind of an example of the former old culture, you know, like they were themselves in the late 50s, from the Beat Hotel, not against, because they also considered the surrealists and the great artists like Henri Michaud, the poet, who worked on mescaline, you know, drugs.
Oh yeah, we tried to find that here in Paris.
Michaud, yes.
Me too.
Michaud is dead for years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but he was translated in English, but not very well known yet, you know. And these people also try to, from the Beat Hotel basis, try to find a kind of connection between US editors and some French artists also, you know, like Michaud, like Jean-Jacques Lebel or other writers also. And for them it was a kind of house because they could cook in the rooms.
Yeah, that was...
So we can see the front if you want. Here we can see the floors on 5 levels, and the room upstairs on the 5th floor, 1, 2, 3, 4. But you can see very well that it was the kind of basis for Mr. William Burroughs' basis.
Was he up at the top floor?
Yeah, the thing is that he didn't have a real window, so the light came from the stairs, from the ceiling, you know?
Oh yeah.
Because some rooms didn't have any real windows. No, so it was even cheaper, because your light was coming only from the interior.
Yeah.
And also the dark side of it. It was extremely dirty. A lot of rats.
Yeah, there was rats here. Yeah.
And now with the Relais Hotel Vieux Paris, it became completely different. Now it's a 4-star hotel.
It's a 4-star hotel.
The price is not the same, but I have the pleasure to meet my new customers who maybe were Beats, because I have some former Beat people who come here and visit and know, oh, it's gentrified very much now. It's a rich place, you know. It changed a lot. I said, yes, that's normal. It's life, huh? Things changing. But still, I have a pleasure to be here also to talk about these people.
Could you tell me a little about the everyday life of the Beat generation living at the hotel?
You want to answer the question again, or it's all right?
No, it's
okay. So first, they were late, always late. I mean, nobody was in the lobby before maybe 10 or 11, never before.
No.
And the thing is that some cook in their home, so some didn't have any rooms and cook, so you could imagine also the smell.
Yeah.
And the crazy curtains.
Yeah. And then Ginsberg liked to cook a lot.
Yeah, but it was not a cordon bleu, huh? Simple things.
Yeah, simple thing. But he cooked for the rest of them.
Yes, and also Mr. Burroughs also sometimes.
Burroughs was not into food very much, was he?
He cooked himself. He had tea every day.
You had tea?
Tea, yeah. He bought a special stove, and he had a tea inside his place, and he liked to propose tea to his visitors.
Okay.
Because the visitors were numerous, you know, you can all have visitors. And these people were also in between for sexual reasons. You know, they could be even Ginsberg. He didn't sometimes girls, sometimes women, sometimes men, sometimes young men. It was all in between, you know. So it's not very clear.
Peter Orlovsky.
Yes, a love story, but also with women sometimes. And Kerouac was also in between, you know. So before 10 o'clock, nobody. And then they came down, and they cooked a little bit, they tea, and then it was all the neighborhood is. They had some places where they could go from here.
Yeah.
They could go to Maurice Girodias publishing company, the guy who was in charge of Olympia Press.
Okay, yeah.
Who published a lot of books, including Burroughs, but it was because Ginsberg and all of France pushed on him to publish. He said now, he said at that time it was the man who discovered Burroughs, but it was after long letters and numerous pressures on him because they couldn't realize how important he was, you know.
Oh.
Maurice Girodias, the editor, yes. So they had connections between some bars in Saint-Germain-des-Prés and some people to see. For example, Ginsberg, also they like to go and to see the museums also.
I know that
Some
he smoked
cemeteries.
pot and go to Louvre.
Yes, and
likes
then he
to
could
do-
get high on seeing incredible painters. And then he said that the things you see when you're high are really different. And Paris has so many things to discover and see. And they like also to go to some cemeteries like Le Père Lachaise.
Okay.
Where
Well,
many
that's where
film-
Jim Morrison was.
Yes, and also numerous of
Saint Bernard.
writers and
Piaf.
yes, artists and piano and singers, and a lot of them are here in some very gothic, incredible font, and some very just anonymous ones, you know, very blank and simple ones. And some became like kind of a milestone, like the Jim Morrison one, you know. But so they wanted to see some even chateau and some monuments which represented interest for them. Sorry, I have to.
Yeah,
give it
you
here.
have to. Club technique was invented here at the hotel.
The thing is that
Brian Guisson.
yes, Brian Geising was a friend. He was from Australia. He's been living for a long time in Europe, and he became a friend. But later, with William Burroughs, at first when Burroughs and Ginsberg had a friendship here at Beat Hotel, he wasn't there. He came after, and then he was a resident here. And he was an inventor in all the senses. He had a sense of lighting, and also he was a nice artist, a real artist, you know. And he's supposed to be, according to Lebel and other specialists, a scholar, he's supposed to be the one who has invented cut-ups, yes. But
like
the surrealists also have invented cut-ups. They had a game where they cut all the phrases, and then they mixed all together, and then they were looking for a new meaning through a kind of by chance places with phrases with no relation to each other, you know. But the cut-up was different, and he has invented also here a machine called the Dream Machine, which was a kind of machine who was supposed to make you high, but on a natural way, only with a stroboscopic sensation and an impression on your eye.
Is there any possibility to see this dream machine?
here, most of the things have been when the Relais Hotel du Vieux Paris was built, rebuilt and took over from the former one. A lot of things were put in the trash can, except one door, the William Burroughs door, which was given to Jean-Jacques Lebel. You know? He told us about when we inaugurated the plaque for the 30th anniversary of the Naked Lunch, which in French is called Le Festin Nu. It's just the same meaning.
It's the title of Naked Lunch, this?
Yes, yes. Which had a lot of titles, but the first title was Interzone for many times. And also the manuscript has changed very often, and it was difficult to create really a first publication.
They did edit Naked Lunch in this hotel.
Yes, the first tests were here, and even before there were other writers also, like for example Chester Himes, who was a black writer who came here in 1953, before the Beat also, and he wrote a couple of books here, and he became very known in Europe more than he was in USA. Yes, now he's well known, but we had also still artists coming to Relais Hotel du Vieux Paris. We came here in memory of what was the Beat Hotel, you know.
You have a lot of people interested in the Beat Hotel living here.
The thing is that, yes, the thing is that young people, and that's, which I think is still means that the Beat means something still today, that we have a lot of youngsters, even 18 years old, who come here to visit it. So it still means something.
Because of the Beats.
Yes, and because of Burroughs, because of Geising, because of Allen Ginsberg, because of the spirit they could create and produce, the young generation is not passé culture. It still means something to them. So me, I have a pleasure to explain to them that. So I'm in a nice position because we make good business because it's a beautiful hotel. And also it's a boutique hotel. It's a small hotel with only 19 rooms now. At that time there were 42, depending on sources. Some sources say 46 rooms, some say 42. And now we have 19 rooms and in different types. And we had some artists who came recently in the last 2 or 3 years. And for me, it's always a kind of excitement, you know. Even I pretend to be very cool. I'm very happy to receive them. You know?
So there's still going some creativity on in the Beat Hotel.
Yeah, we had had a writer that he didn't want to be mentioned, so I cannot tell you because I promised. But he's a very famous scriptwriter who came here last year, and he stayed here couple of days and nights, and he wrote all the time, and so maybe you can see that on television now. And we had a singer also, and we had one more famous, Patti Smith, who came here.
Patti Smith?
Patti Smith, a singer, 2 years ago.
2 days ago?
Sorry, 2 years ago. Not 2 days ago, 2 years ago. And another like Khaled, who is a famous singer here, world music singer from Algeria and France. And still people, you know, from America, New York, or Japan, or Argentina, who say, hey, in New York you have a Chelsea hotel, and in Paris you have a Beat hotel. Yes. And now we have a Relais Hotel du Vieux Paris. And me.
Remy, thank you for talking to you.
Sorry, I was too talkative. It's all right?
No, you were not.
Okay.
I would like to talk to you all night.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome, man. So, on what could we see that? You want something to drink?
Thank you.
You would like?
Yeah.
Sure, come. We still wait. Okay. Waiting for a shuttle. It's decoration, French bizarreness. You know, in France, aesthetic is extremely important.
Yes, yes.
And this, I think, is a good idea because it integrates the old Middle-age foundations of a house.
Yeah.
So that means that this house has real hardcore foundations, you know, for years, 1480. And here we have a kind of lounge. Quite comfortable.
America wasn't even built then.
Yeah, that's what I said. What do you want to drink?
What do you have?
Coffee, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola Light, sparkling water, regular water.
I'd love some coffee. Please.
Coffee. Espresso? Yes. You too, sir?
I'd like a coffee if it's
Ah, yeah.
possible. Thank you very much.
Regular one?
Yes,
D'accord.
please.
Et vous, monsieur?
Coffee.
Coffee, d'accord.
Yeah.
Please make yourself comfortable.
Thank you.
We have toilets also here if you want.
Thank you very much.
You can walk around or whatever.
Det er meget sjovt, hva' Mads?
Han er en meget informativ herre, og har fortalt os alt, hvad vi ville ønske at høre.
Nu sidder vi her.
Nu sidder vi her på Bilhotel, og det har jeg altid drømt om, så det er et stort ønske, der ligesom er kommet igennem for mig.
Og bliver budt på kaffe.
Og
Jeg skulle næsten have bedt om Ginsberg-te.
Ja, det
Nå ja, vi skulle have
Boros
bedt om
te.
Ginsberg-te, ja.
Var det Ginsberg?
Nej, det var Boros, der drak te, ja.
Vi er her ved Notre Dame, og der er gang i noget rulleskøjte-sjov. Der er nogle folk her, der kører på rampe her. Så se om vi kan være heldige lige at få et skud med det. Du er en smuk mand, Mads.
Tak. I lige måde.
Tak.
Så nu, nej, han kører for langsomt til, der sker noget.
Ja, han kan ikke. Skal de sætte rampen lidt op, måske? Og Mads, du må lige lave lidt action. Der sker jo ikke noget.
Jo, men der kommer noget her i gang lige om lidt.
Ja, men
Nu sætter de rampen op, så bliver den endnu højere. Se der.
ja.
Sker der i høj grad noget lige om lidt.
Tror du, det bliver spændende?
Jeg tror, det bliver rigtig spændende. Vi kan håbe på, at de falder.
Det kunne være skægt.
Se, nu skal han lige tage mål af situationen. Ja, ja.
Klapper du også, Mads?
Jamen, jeg har ikke hænderne. Men nu sker det. Nu skal vi jo lige være på her. Så kommer der en der.
Så, Mads?
Det er sindssygt, mand. Altså, vi snakker 2-3 meter op i luften der.
Ja, den er høj.
Kommer en til, kommer en til. Fantastisk. Fantastisk.
Skal vi...
Så er det heller ikke mere spændende, vel?
Nej, det er det sgu ikke.
Men vi
Fik da set det.
herop gik Philip Petit på line mellem de to tårne.
Ja.
Helt ulovligt.
Han var ikke så meget til det lovlige.
Han var ikke så meget til det lovlige.
Ikke når det gjaldt at gå på line.
Han havde ikke højdeskræk. Ikke ligesom jeg.
Og du ville måske ikke være god til det.
Ej, jeg tror ikke, det lige er min disciplin. Umiddelbart.
Men det er et flot sted at gå, ikke?
Jo, det er et sindssygt flot sted at gå.
Måske lidt prætentiøst.
Er meget. Men det fremhæver jo både bygningen og kunsten og alt muligt.
Ja, det er højt op. Forklar lidt om, hvad du gerne vil i dag. Hvad du gerne vil opnå med dagen. Helt personligt. jeg har ikke så mange store drømme egentlig. Altså, jeg synes, vi har fået gjort noget rigtig godt med Beat Hotel der.
Ja.
Og han var en fantastisk herre derinde.
Det var han virkelig.
Det var han i hvert fald. Så jeg synes, at vi har været fyldestgørende for i dag. Jeg synes, at vi skal tage en slapper. Det er jeg mest på.
Ja.
Ja. Umiddelbart. Så er det mest det, jeg er til.
De sexe, est-ce qu'il faut en fric? Donne le bon train à la fumée qui te fout la tri. Que du style, 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 que du style. Algérie! C'était la dernière chanson, c'était une des miennes. Elle est simple, vers l'avenir. J'espère qu'on le prendra tous un jour. Moi le premier. Merci. Salut. Take a good time. I hope you enjoy the show. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.